Hey y'all, I'm Emily and welcome back to Bama Base, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. All right, so I'm already hot and sweaty, and even though it's the fall, it's still in the low 90s today, and my greenhouse is showing, I'd say 104-ish inside, so it is still sweltering here in Alabama. So just got a drink, and the greenhouse is a heck of a lot better. It was so dirty that I actually had ants making like their nest inside the greenhouse. And y'all, my greenhouse is on a slab. So I had just that much extra soil all over the concrete slab, and they were just making themselves at home. And I was like, heck no. So everything is organized, clean, and I feel a lot better. I got that dopamine hit after I finished that task. So yeah, very happy with this. It looks a lot better. So I'm going to flip you around and show you, my progress that I made today in the greenhouse. So I did take out a few of the tomatoes. I discovered that I had a grasshopper in here and a tomato hornworm, and they had nibbled down the tomatoes to just a little stub. So those are now over the fence. But I still have just a few that are producing fruit. And again, my hope is that I can still have a few tomatoes growing over the winter if I keep them in here. And then what I think is awesome is my neighbor who I actually gave starts to had volunteers show up in his garden. So he just gave them back to me to see if I can grow them over winter. Hi, Harley. All right, so I put everything, all the soil in the tote now. And here are the seedlings. And y'all, it was raining for the last few days, so I didn't come out here to water what was inside the greenhouse. So I did lose a lot of my seedlings because they just dried up. Like a lot of the celery, they're done. But I still have plenty of others over here. So um, I'm happy to see that the English daisies are still coming up. Still nothing on the blues daisy. Creeping daisy, one row struggled, and then the other, they're still flourishing. And then the dwarf Shasta daisy, they're still doing okay. And then this tray is doing awesome. So rutabagas in the back, lettuce is next, kohlrabi, and then um, Copenhagen cabbage. And then over here we have more Napa cabbage, broccoli, and then again, some of these just dried up on me over the last few days. Looks like I need to give some of the onions a little haircut. And then these I just pulled up out of this tray over here to go plant outside in the garden. But I'll back up and give y'all a little good view. Well, dog, are you okay? That's what happens when you have a little dog and he gets under your feet. You okay? Yeah, all right, you're fine. All right, so here's a good little view. All clean, so much better. All right, so the plan now, until I lose complete will and energy to do anything else, is I'm going to um, trim up some of these pepper plants. And y'all, it's supposed to be fall, but it still feels like June, July. It is still very hot. Um, yeah, I'm sweating. It's hot. It's not fallish. We might pretend it's fall, but it's not. So I'm going to trim up some of these pepper plants. I don't want to pull them because they are still so abundant. But I do need to make room for my fall garden. Um, so yeah, I'm going to trim up the pepper plants. I'm going to trim up the petunias. And let me see. I am going to go ahead and just finish taking up the tomato plants that are inside the bed. I'll show y'all Harley. He's chewing on his little stick. All right, so I want to put these marigolds in a pot and move them to the front of the house just for fall decoration. Pull these pepper plants up just because they aren't doing so good. Well, they actually are. They're so abundant. I need the space for my garlic. Here's another little pesky jerk in the garden. Tomato hornworm. Ugh, so gross. So I'm going to sprinkle in some trifecta that I got from M.I. Gardner. And oh, it's hot, man. I'm not gonna measure. I'm just gonna sprinkle. I hate measuring, so sprinkle it all around. All right, so I'm just gonna pop a squat here. Here's more marigold seeds that I'm just gonna sprinkle in the garden. Oh, here's more. Maybe next year we'll have a whole bunch. So let me dig out the garlic. I think that's it. All right, so all my garlic came from M.I. Gardner. And hardneck. Let's see. Music, Calla White. An early Italian. Should have. I think they're all hardnecks. I think that one might be soft. Maybe. All right, so my plan is just have rows of each one. Sorry for the light. Let me see if I can get you better. All right, so the plan is to just make rows for each variety. Oh, it's so hot. And y'all could be my record of what I plant, because when I actually get up and go get a label, I will probably have already forgotten. So that'll help me remember. So let's start off with the Calla White. Let me just open it up here. And y'all, I'm going to make a row this way to see if they prefer a little bit more shade in the back throughout the day or more sun toward the front, or if it truly matters. So I'm going to bury them about 2 inches deep and then about 4 inches apart. That sun is getting me today. And there's a lot of ants in this bed again. That's great. That means I'm going to be eaten alive. Whew. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay. So I'm just going to break it apart. All right, so root side down, tip up. Now I'm excited for this. They say garlic's one of the easiest things to grow, but I've never really had the space up until this year. One day we'll have acreage. One day. That's our plan and our hope. But in the meantime, we're going to be very content with what God's already given us. All right, so out of that one head of garlic, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 little cloves of garlic out of one head. I think that's pretty dang good. So I want to go ahead and do a small one and do another row of Calla White. I have great plans for this garlic. I want to, of course, chop it up and use it in cooking, but I want to ferment some. I want to put it in some oil. A lot of good stuff. Give it to the parents to share the abundance and just enjoy growing it. Yeah, there's a lot of ants. I feel like I'm already in their ant bed. I swear, y'all, the pests this year I didn't think were bad, other than like spider webs that I keep running into and wasps. I thought the tomato hornworms were okay, and then I saw that we had the parasitic wasp lay its eggs on one, and I was like, okay, I can live with that. But the ants this year, y'all, the ants, like I see them all beside me, and then roly polies are going nuts. And of course, I mean, this is wood chips and compost. They're so small. Can't even show you, but yeah, a whole bunch of roly polies. Alrighty, so I've already made a few rows planting the garlic already. So Hannah Grace called, and when your 18, almost 19-year-old daughter calls and wants to chit chat, you stop everything that you're doing and you live in the moment and enjoy the conversations, because mom's not the weirdo mom anymore. So I definitely wanted to take that phone call. She's just living her life, enjoying college. So for record keeping purposes, the first two rows are California White. Then I did 2 rows of music, 2 rows of early Italian, and then I'm going to start on 2 rows of German White Hardneck. So here we go. I'm going to start on the second row. All right, I'm going to save the rest of this clove or head of garlic to plant over there to see which one does better. All right, so for future note taking, 2 rows of Calla White, 2 rows of music, 2 rows of early Italian, 2 rows of German White, and then I have this onion right here that I planted in the spring, and it hasn't really done anything, but that's going to be my marker, and then I'll start the kohlrabi and the rutabagas going this way. All right, let's go take the pots to the front and start on decorating for fall. Alrighty, y'all, so I went to Lowe's and decided to get some plants to make these pots look pretty for the fall. So I found a great sale on, what are these, pansies? Yep, pansies. That should last through the fall and early winter here. So first I need to fertilize the gardenias. These are the Spirea gardenias, I believe. And the petunias just overcrowded the gardenias and just didn't give them a lot of sun. So The other pot is either met its maker or it's just burned because it hadn't seen the light of day in quite a long time. So I'm going to add some Trifecta Plus and then some azalea and gardenia fertilizer as well, just because I know these pansies are heavy feeders. All right. Now I'm thinking I want these get huge, so let's do 4 in each pot. I'm thinking. Let's go with that, 4. And I actually got these off the clearance rack for only $1. So that one's planted and fertilized. Let's go do the other one. See what I mean? How this gardenia just looks a little bit fried and done. I do see some green growth at the bottom, which gives me some hope that this was just being just shadowed by all those petunias. So let's give it some fertilizer. Alrighty. And then plant 4 in this pot as well. All right. So even though the gardenia bush looks dead, at least now we have some color going on. All right, so let's go fertilize and plant up the other pansies. All right, so this one just looks a little thirsty to me, but let's go ahead and fertilize it. This is the same gardenia. Yeah, soil feels pretty dry. Y'all, I'm so beat. I hate weeding. It's still freaking hot out here. Man, getting too old for this. All right, so this flower bed is weeded. I know tomorrow it's going to be all back, but it looks better. I still have some fall starts that I need to plant in the backyard. I will probably just do that tomorrow. I'm pretty tired and I'm covered in ants and mosquitoes. So I think that will be it for this part of the fall reset. I'm very happy that we got the garlic in. Yeah, it's going to be a good fall whenever it decides to get here. All right, y'all. Well, I think this is going to be it for me today. So again, this is Emily from Bama Based, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. Bye, y'all.